Okay. Okay. All right. So down here at the end, we're allowed to stay there.
You have to move you later. I'm not promising anything.
Okay. That's good.
All right.
Good for now. Are we in agreement?
For now, yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. So we're allowed to report then, Don, from down here at the end of the block, and that's where we'll continue to do that. But at this point, the crowd has been dispersed. And look, I know it looks tense. It is tense. But again, the officers did use an incredible amount of restraint throughout the evening, up until the very last moment, when, again, the majority of the peaceful protesters had left. And then at that point, police say someone threw some sort of projectile, so the police went for that particular individual, found that particular individual, made some sort of an arrest, and then they started moving everyone back. Now, I just want to be clear. They told us we could move back to the corner that was at least 100 meters back in the other direction. We got to that corner, and then they kept pushing us along, and I kept saying, well, where would you like us to go? We'll go wherever you need us to go. And then you heard how the conversation went just a few moments ago, Don.
You handled that very well, better than I would, because I didn't quite understand what he was saying. Jason Carroll, reporting for us in Brooklyn.
Well, you understand my point, Don.
I totally get your point.
We're allowed to be out here as
Yes.
the press. We're allowed to report.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I get your point. Thank you, Jason Carroll. Nice job. Citizen's Alex Marquardt is in Washington for us near the White House. Alex, what are you seeing where you are this evening?
Well, Don, you know, at this point in the evening, there's always the question of what the protest is looking like. Might it turn violent? But this crowd, many of whom were out here last night, have good reason to be angry for what they went through yesterday, when this entire area was cleared out suddenly at 6:35 p.m., well before the curfew, so that the president could walk across Lafayette Square and hold up that Bible at St. John's Church. What you are seeing now, Don, are a number of protesters who are still out now more than 3 hours after the curfew that was set by the mayor of Washington, D.C. They have been keeping it extremely calm, and the focus entirely on the point of these protests, to raise their voices peacefully in remembrance of George Floyd, and to chant, among other things, that Black Lives Matter. So what we have seen today is diametrically opposed to what we saw over the course of the past 24 hours. There is a curfew in effect, but we have seen no effort by either the federal officers inside the park or the Washington, D.C. Police force, which we imagine is on the streets all around this area, to shut down this protest. Now, we have to say, this was a huge protest during the course of the day. Over the past hour, it has thinned out rather dramatically. You can see here, there are a lot of people lined up against this new fence that was put up overnight. It's about 8 feet tall, made out of steel, connected by lengths of chain. And there have been some protesters who have been pushing up against it, but then they have quickly been told by others to stop it, that they want to keep it peaceful. And on the other side, Don, what you have is a long line of National Guard troops. They just recently were switched out. They switched out the D.C. Park Police. They relieved them. And that just speaks to the huge number of forces that have poured into Washington to help out with law enforcement. Some 2,000 to 3,000 National Guard troops from D.C. and from a number of different states are helping out, along with a number of different federal forces. But Don, the night is wearing on. This curfew is very much, as we said, in effect. Just moments ago, a huge crowd of protesters went down westwards on 8th Street to leave the protest. Our colleague Jeff Zeleny reports that they are just walking out. They are being escorted by police, the police showing no sign of wanting to arrest them, despite the fact that is the threat if they stay out after a curfew. So you can hear those chants of George Floyd. No, that's about the president.
Yeah.
But Don, this is a peaceful protest, and hoping it remains so. Don.
All right, Alex Marquardt, we'll check back. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Like, comment, subscribe.
The mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms. I'm Mayor Bottoms, and so happy that